Morning, YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about the song Mr. Chow by Acoustic Alchemy. Haven't seen too many tutorials about this particular song. This smooth jazz song came out in the early 80s, and this style of classical guitar with a steel guitar lead melody is a great combination. This particular song is a combination of Chinese melody and a reggae beat, if that's possible. So, as before, I'm going to play you a snippet of the song and then we will break it down. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and talk about how to play this great tune. The guitar itself is in standard tuning, and I'm using a Yamaha Classical because it's a little bit, more fuller sound for this particular song. Plus, one of the guys, Carmichael from Acoustic Alchemy, used to play that for the chording part of their tunes. So, anyway. The first thing you got to do is understand that this song is really got some different mix styles. It's got the reggae beat. Okay, and you got to kind of get that down here as we go through this. And then it's got a fast fingers pick style. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Let's talk about the beginning of the song. The beginning of the song opens up with a sort of a Chinese type of intro. And I don't know whether they use a special guitar or a Chinese instrument in order to do it. I'm kind of simulating it here by plucking on the A string and then just sort of doing a little bit of vibrato. Just sort of shaking the string. And you can do the same thing on the 3rd fret of the G string, and then you go down 3rd fret of the D string, 2nd fret of the D string, open D string, and then 1st fret of the A string, and then the low E. And you kind of put those in a combination. There is a little melody. It goes something like you hammer on to the 1st fret of the A string, and then you sort of walk down the D string, and then you go to the 3rd fret of the G string, vibrato, and then you do that a couple of times. Then the song sort of opens up. As I mentioned at the very beginning, there's a reggae-like, jazz-like pluck strum to this. The first chord is an F with a G bass. The F with a G bass is made by basically using the shape of an F major 7th, which is your first finger on the first fret of the B string, your second or your middle finger on the second fret of the G string, and then you're going to put your ring finger on the third fret of the low E string, and then you're going to put your pinky finger on the third fret of the D string. And you're going to get that F with the G bass sound. The second chord is a G with an A bass, and you just take this shape and you're going to slide it up 2 frets. So you're going to go. You recognize that. Now there's a lead melody going over the top of this, but I'm not gonna go into the lead melody in this video. Okay, so we got F with a G bass, G with an A bass, same shape, just slid up 2 frets. Then you're going to go to a C11th, which is made by just laying your first finger down on the third fret from the A all the way down. So you're just covering all the notes on the third fret except for the low E. And you're plucking from the A down. The E is not part of this chord. Okay? So that sounds, the first 3 chords are F with a G bass, G with an A bass to a C11. So at real speed it's... And you notice my plucking. Almost got some percussiveness in there. Okay, the fourth chord in the first verse of this song then goes to an A flat major 7th. Now you make that by putting your first finger on the 4th fret of the low E, then you put your middle finger on the 4th fret of the B string, put your ring finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and then your little finger on the 5th fret of the G string. And now you're going to pluck and not play the A string here. You're going to pluck this. This is the A flat here, so it's an A flat major 7th. Then you're going to go to a B flat. This is a half bar B flat in the first position. You're going to lay your first finger down from the first fret of the A string, covering all the strings, and then you're going to do a half bar on the 3rd fret on the 3rd fret of the D string all the way down, and you're only going to pluck the 4 middle strings. So it's a B flat, and then you're going to do an F. And that is a first position bar F, laying your finger all the way across, and of course putting your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, your little finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. Make sure you get that bass note. This is an F up here, so you got to get that F in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and play that first line again. It starts out with an F with a G bass, to a G with an A bass, to a C11th, to an A flat major 7th, to a B flat, So now the second line of the verse is very similar. It just ends on different chords. So now you're going to start on an F with a G bass, to a G with an A bass, to a C 11th, to an A flat major 7th, to a G minor 7th now, and then ends on a C. Okay, so it's let's talk about that. We talked about F with a G bass. We did that. G with an A bass, C 11th, we know that. A flat major 7th. A G 7th is made by putting your first finger across all the strings of the 3rd fret, and then you use your ring finger to cover the 5th fret of the A string. It's a G minor 7th. And then you're going to go to a C in the first position, which is an easy chord in the first position. So that second line goes... Messed up there, huh? Okay, so that's the first line, or the second line rather. Now, the third line of the verse is the very same thing as the first line. So you're just doing F sharp with a G bass, G with an A, C 11th, A flat major 7th, B flat to an F. Fourth line is just what we just talked about. It's F with a G bass, G with an A bass, C 11th, A flat major 7th, G minor 7th to a C. And you end up on that, okay? Now, that's all reggae style, so you're gonna... Okay, so reggae style. Now you're gonna have to have a little tacit and pause at the C. And it just pauses like that. Now we're gonna go into the fast finger pick of the chorus itself. Now that starts on a C minor 7th in the 3rd fret here. So you're gonna cover all the strings of the on the 3rd fret, starting from the A string down. So you're going to cover all that. Then you're going to put your middle finger on the 4th fret of the B string, and then your ring finger on the 5th fret of the D string. And you're not going to play the low E. You're just going to play from the A string down. That's an A minor or a C minor 7th. And you're going to be playing that fast, so it's... So let's talk about that. C minor 7th. Next chord is A flat major 7th. We already talked about that one. The next chord in the chorus is a B flat 7th. You're going to make the B flat 7th by going to the 6th fret of the by covering all the strings of the 6th fret with your first finger. And then you're going to put your ring finger on the 8th fret of the A string, and then you put your middle finger on the 7th fret of the G string. B flat 7th, back to the A flat major 7th very quickly, and then back to the G minor 7th as I showed you before. So the way that sounds, and I'll do it slow first, and then we'll pick up the speed a little bit. C minor 7th, A flat major 7th, B flat 7th, A flat major 7th to a G minor 7th. So now they're going to play it fast, so it's... It's almost, let me talk about the picking style for a second, because it's very, very fast. So it's almost like you're doing it double. So it's you're hitting the bass note and then just walking down. I'm on the C minor 7th this time, so. Okay, that's the first line of the chorus. You play that twice, the first line of the chorus and then the second line of the chorus. Then what it does is it shifts keys up. Basically 2 steps to it does the same chord sequence except 2 keys up. So it starts on a D minor 7th. D minor 7th is made by putting your laying your first finger across all the strings of the 5th fret, starting on the A. You put your middle finger on the 6th fret of the B string, and then you put your ring finger on the 7th fret of the D string. That's a D minor 7th. So D minor 7th, same little picking pattern, to a B flat major 7th. And you do that by putting your first finger on the 6th fret of the low E string, your middle finger on the 6th fret of the B string. You put your ring finger on the 7th fret of the D string and your little finger on the 7th fret of the G string. And you're not going to play the A string there. That is a B flat major 7th. Then you're going to go to a C 7th, which is in the 8th fret. It's a bar C 7th, and you just lay your finger across the all the strings of the 8th fret, rather. I'm sorry, 8th fret. You put your ring finger on the 10th fret of the A string, and then your middle finger on the 9th fret of the G string. Let me move the camera a little bit and make sure you can see that. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's the C7th. Okay, now we're going to go back to the B flat major 7th and back to the A minor. Ends on an A minor 7th. And an A minor 7th is laying your first finger over all the strings of the 5th fret, and then you just put your ring finger on the 7th fret of the A string. Okay, sounds complex, but it really isn't. It's going to go, and I'll call out these chords again. So the chorus basically has 4 lines in it. It's going to go from a C minor 7th, A flat major 7th, B flat 7th, back to the A flat major 7th to a G minor 7th. It does that twice. Then it's going to shift keys up to a D minor 7th, B flat major 7th, to a C 7th, B flat major 7th, to an A minor 7th, and it ends on that. Okay? All right. So let me see if I can do that in real speed, and then I'll do it slow, and then I'll do it in real speed. So it's... up on that last bit, but anyway, you get the idea. All right, so we do the chorus. There's another melody going over the top of that, and we're not going to cover that again, like I said before. Okay, now what we're going to do is the verse now goes back to the reggae style, but it itself goes up 2 keys, and it starts on a G with an A bass. Now I showed you that before. The G with the A bass is right here. With an A bass, it's going to start on that. It's going to start because we've gone up 2 keys now, and you need to get that reggae back. Starts on that, goes to an A with a B bass. Now that's a pretty easy chord because you just take your first finger and you lay it on the 2nd fret of the A string, and you just lay it across, and you're just playing the middle 4 strings. That's an A with a B bass. Okay. Then let's go to a D11th, which is another easy chord. You just lay, I usually lay my ring finger on, this is on the 5th fret. You lay on the 5th fret all the strings, and you just pluck the middle 4. That's a D11th. And then we're going to go back to a B flat major 7th, which we used in the chorus on the 6th fret there. And then we're going to go to a C half bar C, which is on the 3rd fret. You put your pointer finger on the, well, actually, you lay your first finger over all the strings on the 3rd fret, starting on the third fret there. All the strings. And then you're going to lay your ring finger starting on the 5th fret of the D string in the half bar to a C. And then you're going to go to a G. That's a bar G chord in the 3rd fret. Okay, so let's listen to that first line, back to the reggae, jazz-like strum, and I'll call out the chords. So it's G with an A bass, A with a B bass, D 11th, B flat major 7th to a C, to a G. Okay, now let me play it correctly. Okay? Now, the second line of the second verse starts out very similar again. G flat with an A bass, A with a B bass, D11, B flat major 7th, and then it ends on an A minor 7th going to a D. So it's going to go, just drop down, A minor 7th, we showed you that before. And then a D is a half bar D on the 5th fret. Okay, so let me play those two lines again. So this is the second verse, and then they go up 2 keys. So it's dun, 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 dun. Get my best reggae on. Now the song has a little pause in it, and essentially they're going to play the little intro, the Chinese intro again. If you listen to the recording of this song, they're going to go back to it, and it starts out. Okay, it's going to do this little Chinese thing. There's some percussion going on at the back of it, behind that. And then they're going to jump back into the chorus again very quickly. So they're going to go. They're going to play the chorus all over again. And then they're going to play the second verse again, just like they did before, using the G with an A bass, reggae type thing, to an A with a B bass, D 11th, B flat major 7th, to a C, to a G. And then they basically play that twice through. And then they pretty much end just on a D chord. And let me go to the end real quick. So they've gone back to the reggae, and they have lead over the top of it. So it's gonna go like this for the last 2 lines. And it just ends like that. Okay, folks, that's how you play the song Mr. Chow by Acoustic Alchemy. This is a great tune, one that you can really practice on, amaze your friends if you can get someone to play the lead part of it. The good part about this is that you didn't have to listen to me sing, so that's the Benny for this particular tutorial. So, as before, if you have any other questions about this video or any of the other videos that I put up on my channel. Go ahead and leave me a question or a comment, and I'll get back to you when I can. Have a great day, and we'll catch you later.